Hello folks, I am back, and I know it's been a long time since I did a video, but I decided to do this particular video because I've always wanted a Browning high power and I've never gotten one. I've shot in one over a period of time, over the several years, and in various different configurations, but this is the new modern FN high power. I'm going to make a mistake and say Browning high power a couple times, so it's really the FN high power. Some of you might have seen the shooting videos that I did prior to this video, and I'm really liking the video. And this is kind of special to me because this firearm is for my 60th birthday. So 13 days from now, I'll be 60 years old. And this is something I wanted to get to celebrate it with. Let's start with some facts here. It's the FN high power is going to be 9mm. It's going to be single action only. The magazine capacity is 17 rounds. Weight is going to be 40 ounces. Barrel length is going to be 4.7 inches. And this is one of my favorite features about this barrel. It's a little bit dirty because I've had it out to the range. The barrel is cold hammer forged. And also, if you look right here, it is kind of crowned. It is crowned at the end. Most of the time you'll see that type of thing done to high-end firearms. So this was done directly from FN themselves. Also the overall length, and it does seem kind of large. It reminds me of, it seems longer than the other Browning high powers. The overall length is going to be 8 inches. So it seems like a little bit long, but it's a really, really nice firearm with that length, and it aids with the shootability. One of the other things you're going to notice right off the bat, this is a single action only, which I have mentioned previously. It is safety check, so I'm going to do that right now so the YouTube gods won't get to me. And the barrel length, the barrel does have a 1 in 10 right hand twist. The height on this is going to be 5.62 inches. The width is going to be 1.35 inches. The trigger pull, I've watched a couple videos, and there's not that many videos on this firearm. And I think I know a reason why. I'll talk to you about that later. But the trigger pull can be anywhere between roughly high 3s to 5 pounds. So on FN's website, it says it is 5 pounds, give or take, depending on break-in. The sight radius is going to be 6.37 inches. Now, some of you may frown at these sights right here because they're all blacked out right here. I had no problem shooting with these sights, but I think they could benefit if they put a, let's say, like a Mariglo front sight and leave it blacked out. But one good part about this is these sights here, they can be replaced by any sight that's in the FN 509 series. So some aftermarket people already have FN 509 sights or tritium sights, so you can go on to check those aftermarket people, and you can use the 509 series sights on this particular firearm, which I think was pretty interesting. I already mentioned that these sights were blacked out. Like I said, I didn't have an issue shooting with that. Also, the ejection port on this one is pretty large. Different from the original Browning high powers. And one of the other things is it does, on the outside of this frame here and throughout, it is corrosion resistant with a PVD finish. One of the things is, if I didn't mention it already, the weight is 40 ounces. So this is a hefty firearm. One of the other things is, I did mention it was it does have a polished feed ramp, and it's a chrome line barrel. Now, one thing about chrome line barrels, you only hear that term chrome line barrels. It's the ramp is not pretty much clean right now because I shot it. But one thing about a chrome line barrel, I don't think you can see it in this angle, but a chrome line barrel is usually used in AR-15 rifles and so forth. So you don't usually hear about chrome line barrels. So that's going to aid in, let's say, the life of the firearm as well as shooting accuracy. One of the things about the difference, I'm going to say right now, if you have a Browning high power with different magazines, they are not going to be compatible with the FN high power, this new version. It won't be compatible at all. Matter of fact, my understanding is the parts are not going to be interchangeable because this is a new build-up. This is built from the ground up, and it's pretty much like a modern version of the Browning high power. Now, FN has been making, let's say, the high power for roughly, let's say, 82 years or so, and it was they discontinued making this firearm somewhere in, I believe, the early 2000s or something of that nature. And then all of a sudden, a lot of companies started making clones of the Browning high power. So I guess FN said it's time to get back into the game, but this time they wanted to do it with a little bit of a twist and have their new version of a modern version of the Browning high power, but with a little bit of a twist and a little bit of modern additives on here. One of the major things is John Moses Browning. Of course, you know him from the invention of the 1911, and he was doing development on the original Browning high power, but unfortunately, he had passed away in 1926. It was eventually the Belgians took over his plans, and then later on, they called him a Fabrique Nationale, which means FN, came up with the high power. So John Moses Browning is still credited with making the Browning high power, not this particular one. One other thing about the Browning high power, the originals. Now, I've shot the originals for quite some time, and I've shot some clone ones. One of the biggest problem was the hammer bite when you have your grip hand up there. And the beaver tail was not this far out. It was a little bit further. And the originals had spur hammers. So you would get that hammer bite right in the web between your thumb and your pointing finger. So that was another issue that people didn't like about it, but the Browning high power was a very unique and a good firearm, and it's still being used today in certain militaries and across the world. And even the Germans have used it during World War II, and the Allies have used it during World War II because the Germans took over the Belgian plant, and therefore they had access to making these firearms, the high powers, that is. I think they used to be called the P38, not P38, but whoever knows this, just note it in the comments below. But that's just a little bit of brief history. I don't know the total exact history, but this is what I know so far. Due to its modern twist on this, notice that the ejection port is a lot bigger on this modern version. The usual Browning high power ejection ports were on the side and did not allow for a bigger ejection port. It was like a little bit smaller. Another thing is, I had mentioned the sights. The sights weren't even dovetail. Another big thing was the takedown was totally different. Now, I'm not going to take this down because YouTube has some weird rules. Some people take their guns down. I can't keep up with the rules anymore, so I give up. So after you lock your slide back, On this particular side, all you have to do is pull this lever down and you will be able to get that slide off, similar to like a P226 and other firearms that are out there on the market. Pretty similar how to lock the slide and bring the lever down. Now, one of the things that FN did to pay homage to the original High Power is, if you see this little scallop portion right here, that was brought on if I believe on earlier models of the High Powers in the early 20s. Some of them had this particular space here, and that was to aid in taking down the firearm to break it down. Now, on the regular High Powers, you would use your thumb in this spot and then push out a pen similar to like the old-fashioned 5906s, and also similar to how some of the CZs are. You push that pen and you pull that out. Well, that's what this little scallop is for, to pay homage to that, how they used to do their takedown. Another thing that's different from the original is that this has a ambidextrous safety. It's very intuitive. There are some reviewers out there, one being Sarge 1911, that's SGT 1911. He had a problem with a little bit of wiggle. I do have a little bit of wiggle, but it doesn't affect the firearm at all. He had asked me to find out if mine does wiggle here. But this one stays pretty much stout right here. It doesn't have that problem with a wiggle or anything of that nature. But I will admit, this one does have a little bit of a wiggle. I don't know if that's by design, but but it does have that little bit of wiggle, but it's not really that disconcerting to me. Also, one of the downsides I'm going to mention is the guide rod here is polymer. I was hoping that it would be a metal guide rod, but I guess FN knows what they're doing, but I would like to have seen a metal guide rod right here. But they, like I said, FN decided to go with this, and I don't see too much of a problem. I don't have any issues with accuracy, with it, the functionality of it. It's just that's just a personal preference with me, as far as having a metal guide rod. One of the other things is that I mentioned the sights. Some people will complain about the sights, but I don't have an issue. Now, if you notice, these have different grips, and I'm going to talk to you about that briefly. When I originally shot this, the grips are like this, the black grips right here. These are black plastic grips. I don't have any problem with the black. The black looks perfect. And this is the way it looked, and it felt very decent. But what I did have a problem was, FN tries to accommodate people, so they gave you this plastic grip with this. So you get two sets of grips. You get the regular, if you have the black version, you're going to get the black is going to be on there, and they're going to give you these brown ones. Now, these brown ones are, let's face it, they're ugly. In the 1970s, I had G.I. Joes that were plastic, and they look better quality than this one. This really looks ugly. So I applaud FN for trying to give people options, but they should have come up with a different color pattern, because, face it, this just looks cheap. If you get the other versions, like the stainless will have black and another color. The FDE one is really good because it comes with a matching FDE grip plus another grip. I can't for the life of me remember what color it is, but it does match up well. It seems like they just messed up on this one. So you're probably saying, where did these grips come from? So before I picked up this firearm on layaway, so what I did was I went on the FN website, and on the FN website they have this particular pattern. This is the olive, a dirty olive, or whatever olive that is. They have a blue, they have a red, they have a black, and these grips are made by VZ Grips. Now, and that's on FN's website. The VZ, they must have a contract with them. And I like these grips pretty well. I'm going to shoot it today with these grips because I only shot it with the plastic ones. So I'm going to really want to see what the difference is. So these grips are pretty decent. They feel good. And I think this, what they call a dirty olive, brings out the black pretty well because it's not like a bright green or anything like that. So I'm really happy with these grips. But I would like to see Lock Grips come out with a grip that would go with this firearm. So Lock Grip, if you're listening, hopefully you'll be able to produce some grips out for this firearm. The trigger is, I mentioned, that can be anywhere from high 3s to 5 pounds. This trigger is very good, very crisp. You don't have any issues when you're firing this firearm. It is awesome. I had a friend of mine at the range I work at. He shot it. He loved it. So one of the last things I wanted to mention, I did mention that magazines for this, you have, if you want, it comes with 2 magazines, but you can get extra magazines on the FM website. But remember, other magazines, FM magazine, other magazines from other makers or anything are not compatible with this firearm. It is totally different. So with that said, one of the other things is the magazine disconnects. Like some of the earlier high powers, they were basically, once you took the magazine out and if you had a round in the chamber, you would have a dead trigger. This will fire with a round in the chamber. All in all, I do like the FN high power. I think there are a lot of other firearms out there that are paying homage to the high powers such as Girsan. There are other companies. And more recently, you've seen me shot the SA-3035, Springfield Armory's version. To me, Springfield Armory's version of the FN high power, the clone, is probably one of the best. Early on, it did have some magazine issues, but those were ironed out. But I will say this, the Springfield Armory version goes off the original clone look. This right here, the new FN version, is not going to be a clone. It's its own firearm. One of the other things is, who's going to buy this firearm? This firearm is what I would say a niche firearm. It's certain people are going to want this firearm. Right now, you have all these 2011s and all these other particular firearms. I don't know who's going to really go after this firearm, for the exception for a few people like myself, or people that are really into high powers, collect high powers, or want a modern version. So this would be, I do not really know what group would be in the market, but I would say if you're in the market for something different, this is the firearm to go to. This is also a very, like I said, a very accurate firearm. It's a joy to shoot at the range, and it's effortless. If you want to see shooting details, just look at the my shorts on YouTube or the shooting video. I will be doing more shooting videos with this, just to show you how good it is. It does shoot very good tight groups. I'm going to show you one other thing. A lot of people worry about holsters. The only people that are making holsters, from what I found on the FM website, is A&R Design. And this is the In the Pants holster, A&R Design's logo, and they're making it specifically for FN. So, I know I talked a lot on this video. I just want to thank my subscribers for hanging in there and waiting for me to put out new content. And yes, this is going to be a gun that I'm going to shoot a lot, and it's the ultimate birthday gift for me. So with that said, I'm going to just basically say the Browning High Power was the staccato of its day because of the capacity. Today, it's going to be one of these firearms that you are going to really have to say, is it for you? And I do believe there is a market, but it's going to be a niche market that would like this firearm. I would say get it. With that said, happy shooting, stay safe, #2A.